But then the problems that we don't use keep change flip on, I still get them right when I do use keep change flip. So I don't know.
Then I don't think you know what keep change flip is. Alright, evaluate nth roots and use rational exponents.
Nothing. Sorry.
Rewrite the expression using rational exponents. Rational exponents basically just means that our exponent is going to be written as a fraction. Whatever the power is going on top. Whatever the square root is goes on the bottom of the fraction. So, number 8, we have the fifth root of 8. So this would just be 8 to the 1/5.
Wow. I like this a lot.
And that's the answer.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
We should do a lot of these problems.
I already know this is going to get a lot.
Wait, I think I've done this already.
Yeah.
I've literally only got like 1 page of examples, so you think you'll be all right.
Yay!
All right, 10. The fifth root of the square root, or not the square, the fifth root of y plus 2 squared. That's what I was trying to say.
Oh, I did get more into
This is where you lost
Wait,
me.
I know how to do this one.
You've already done that.
Y plus 2 to the 1/5.
Not to flex, right?
It's
To the
y
square.
plus
2/5.
to the 2 over 5.
So whatever the power is always goes on top. The root goes on the bottom. So this is going to be y plus 2, all in parentheses, raised to the 2 over 5.
Oh, I can do this. That was correct.
Bernardo didn't have
Oh.
You got this, Judy. Do I? Yes.
So that's if they want it in rational exponent notation. If they give you the exponent as a fraction, then they want you to rewrite it in radical notation, which will be like 14. X to the 7 over 6. The 7 is the power, so we'll have x to the 7th, and then it'll be the 6th root of that because that's what's on the bottom. And notice the root number goes in the little like V-shaped piece here. Okay, it doesn't go out front. This is not the same thing as this. Okay, that's 6 times that. This is the 6th root of that.
Go in his pouch.
These are
You know
weird.
what those are
Yes.
Jack.
called? The little baby ones? Joey.
Wait, what is it?
Yes, put them in the kangaroo pouch. There you go.
Yay. Joey in the pouch.
Is it like a
Weird dog.
All right.
I thought that was a
Find the indicated nth root or roots of A. So 16, n equals 3, A equals negative 27. So the nth root of A, all this is telling me to do is to rewrite this as negative 27, and it's the cube root of that. So what is the cube root of negative 27?
9.
and negative 3i?
Mm.
Or just 3i? Plus
We
or
don't
minus-
know.
Plus or minus 3i?
I don't remember.
All right.
It's a
No.
Ignore the negative. What is the cube root of 27?
3. It's 3.
3.
It's just negative 3.
It is just negative 3. We only have i's if it's an even root. Okay, so if it's square root, a 4th root, 6th root, 8th root, so on and so forth, any even powered root, we would have an I to deal with. But because these are odd powers, we just keep the negative with it because negative 3 cubed is negative 27. Um, 18. N equals 3. A equals 343. So this is the cube root of 343. And what would that be?
13. Nope.
Cube root.
23.
I really believe that this comes out evenly.
It does.
3.
Wait,
Right job,
times
Charlotte.
itself is the 3.
It's not 16. So 3.
Is it
It'd have to be
7?
100.
It's 7.
Shepard, did you just say fruit?
How?
Because 3 times 7 is 37. Oh,
All right.
that's 30.
Since
It's not
Shepard
10.
clearly didn't know how to type this in the calculator to find it out easily, I'm going to show you the way to find a root other than a square root on your calculator real quick, because it could come in handy on an SAT or something in the future. So obviously we have the square root button that's above the square button over here. But if I want to take a cube root or something bigger than that, I need to go to math, which is on top left. And you're going to notice down here, one, they have a cube button, which I don't really know why they have that one. They have the caret and you can type it in, but whatever. And then option 4 is actually a cube root, okay? But option 5 is usually, unless I just know explicitly it's cube root, what I use. So this is what I'm really trying to show you. So up here, obviously I already had something typed in my calculator, so it pulled the answer. But I would just overwrite this and say, okay, I want the cube root of, and then you arrow into the box 343. And it'll tell you what it is. Okay. So that's a way that you can check what this stuff is if you need to, or if it's like not one that you know off the top of your head, so you're not sitting there wasting time away. All right. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you have one that's an even root, an even root, and you have a negative under the radical, in this particular section, they're just going to say that the answer is no real roots. I'm totally fine with you saying, like, if it was, let's say it was I have to think of one. They're all, like, I'm thinking of all odd ones, but anyways. Well, that would just be a square root. But just say that it's like whatever I. Just like put the I in there. You don't need to put that it's no real roots if that happens. Like, that's fine, but you can just do it in terms of I, how we would have done it. So, like, if it was like, I'm just going to say if it was a square root of -4, just do 2I.
Okay.
But
Like-
we don't have to do plus or minus.
Well, these aren't plus or minus problems. It's only plus or minus if you're solving, like x equals whatever.
Did that come out of your strawberries?
Why is that in my hair? How can I feel that?
Why are you eating strawberries anyways?
Strawberries.
Did you put something in your hair?
That wasn't what I asked. I said, why are you eating them?
They're good for you.
Okay. Evaluate the expression without using a calculator. 8 to the 1/3. How can I rewrite that?
Oh,
Let me do
square
it.
root, 3 square root of 8.
Cube root
Cube root of 8, I meant.
of 8. And what's the cube root of 8?
2.
2. Now, you don't have to write this out. These are no calculator problems. AKA, this might be one of those quizzes that I don't let you use a calculator on.
Can you go ahead and do it again?
Huh?
How do I do that? Like that thing right there? I'm still confused.
You just take the cube root of 8.
What is a cube?
What times what times what equals 8?
Oh,
I
I know how to do it now. I wasn't paying attention. I was laughing at something when you explained it.
24. Cube root of -125.
That's 12. No, it isn't.
-5.
Five.
-5.
How did you know
Because 15 is 25. No, 5 times 5 is 25 times 5 is 125.
that? -5.
Okay. 28.
5 times 5 is 5 times 5 is
In parentheses, the cube root of -64, all raised to the 4th. So what I would do is do the cube root first. Anytime you are taking something that's like a root and a power, I would always do the root first, unless they just directly cancel, because you don't want to raise something to a power and then take the root, because it's going to be way bigger and you're not going to be able to just do that in your head. So what's the cube root of 64, or -64?
-4.
-4, so this would be -4 raised to the 4th.
Ooh, what is 16 times 6?
Oh, the answer is 256. Positive.
Why'd you type it in your calculator? These are no calculator questions.
Shoot, I forgot. Positive 256.
Hey. You cheated.
All right, 32. See if you remember rules of exponents. If Charlotte has helped Harrison study, she would know these.
I have
So,
not.
Charlotte,
I hope Harrison started.
Your sister.
He hasn't asked me.
No, because he just gets it.
Alright,
What do I do with a negative
I
exponent?
gotta go to the
Flip
top.
it.
Keep change flip.
Put it where it ain't, make it positive.
No, keep
81 to the 3/4. Remember my catchphrase, put it where it ain't, make it positive. So 81 to the 3/4. So this tells me, what does that 3/4 tell me to do?
It's gonna be cube root of 81 to the 4th.
It's gonna be the
No.
opposite. 4th root of 81 to the 3rd.
Yes.
I like this game.
The bottom is what goes outside the radical. The top is what it's being raised to. So what is the 4th root of 81? 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 cubed is
9.
No, 27.
27.
That was 3 squared. There's a little number up top.
All right, now we get back to everyone's favorite. Use a calculator for these ones to 2 decimal places.
Oh, 2 decimal places.
Now, I want everyone to try this with your calculator because I want to make sure you can type in a root that's not just a square root. The 5th root, and I assure you can't do this in your head, of 32,768.
I know this one.
That's like,
You know that one?
Yeah.
32.
Okay, so we
Nah,
did the other.
7.
She just said 6.
Now he's got this.
Mason's the main character.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oops, it said answer instead of what I actually
I
did.
bet it's 11.
8.
Hey, I was close.
That's
Oh,
not
no
normal.
way.
32 is
This
close
is what they
enough.
taught us in public school. It's how to play with the calculator.
Oh, I thought you
I'm
said-
not lying. That's all we did all math class. Well, none of us really did it.
All right, this one, I'm going to show you a different way to type it in just to make sure that we know how to do this. So we have 1,974 raised to the 2/7. So this one, obviously we could rewrite this if I wanted to as far as the 7th root of 1,974 squared. I could do that. Or I can just use the caret button.
Oh, I love this one. Wait, what is the carrot?
So 1974. This button up here that looks like an arrow pointing up. And then I can just do 2 divided by 7 all up there in the exponent. So it looks like that. 8.74.
Can I ask you a question? So, okay, so like on number 10, it's x, y plus 2 raised to the 2nd, and then all of that is 5th rooted. So then, and the 5 is on the bottom, right?
Yes.
But then for 44, it's the opposite, how everything is cubed, but then the cube is still on the top.
What? There's no cube.
What's it called? 2, squared.
I can do it in any order.
It can be,
I typically will write it this way because it's easier to take the root first if you're doing it like just in your head.
yeah.
Obviously these ones are on the calculator. This is the exact same thing as the 7th root of 1,974 squared.
Okay.
They're the exact same thing.
That's awesome.
Just a matter of do you square it
Oh.
first or you take the root first.
Because it's just all of
Because
that
it's like
multiplied.
multiplication, division. You can do it in whatever order.
Yeah, I understand.
All right, we good on this stuff?
Yes.
All right, problems. 7, 13, 15, 19, 25, 27, 31, 41, and 45. And I would wager you can finish this before class is over. I don't think there were notes for 6.2. But there are for 6.3 that are due Wednesday.
You can do that.
Can I go to the bathroom?